You cannot leave your son and your daughter when he or she is 5 years, then you disappear and go to look for money for 10 years. You will find that person being 15 years, not 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can't come and pick parenting from where you left your son and your daughter at 5 years, and then now you want to begin from there. No, you're now dealing with a teenager. You're not dealing now with a child. And you see now, at teenager, you are not their role model. You are not even their hero. Social media, their peer pressures are the ones that are their role model. So there are things that we need to be very careful about.
Yes.
I think we have become so much money-minded. We don't mind our children. We even leave them with our mothers and our fathers. We go and look for money. And we say, we shall they die? And no one has ever died because of lack of money. In Africa, we have a way of surviving and getting food. You can even go to the dustbin and eat, and God will make sure you will not even diarrhea.
Yeah.
You think of what happens to the chokoras. You know, the children who are in the streets. They have never died of malaria. And they sleep under the bridges.
Sure.
You know, we have and you see there's no winter. That if winter comes, they will die of cold outside. God makes you sure He sustains them. Wow. So for me, much more as we want to get rich, more important, can we enrich our children with our character, with our morality? The same thing that our parents also sacrificed, not to have too much money, but they gave us their morality. To some extent, that has kept us to this far that we are in.
There is a moral degradation in our society. As a society, I don't know what can be done, but maybe this is just a call to awakenness. One, if there is just a way, one day, it is my prayer that this company that produces porn, one day it just get disbanded all over the world. It's not even serving the humanity. It should just be disbanded because it's the cause of many, many dark sexual offenses. Secondly, how I wish men would just rise up. He created man.
First.
Yes, man
to
first.
Be a caretaker.
The man was mandated to take charge of all these things, you see. And he was told after multiplying, if you use amplified version, then take charge. Then after that, after creating man, ndio God akasema, it is not good for man to be alone.
Yeah.
It is not good. Otherwise, man would have just done well with the animals. So a woman was added in the equation, but this means a man has the capacity to protect every woman, every female that is under your custody. It could be even just a neighbor's child. You are seeing the neighbor is molesting that innocent child. You don't close your eyes and say it's none of your business. You have to report. There is a molestation going on in families, but people are keeping quiet because they want to look like they are an organized family. These people need to be reported. Me, I say, even if today I hear one of my brothers, even a kid brother, done or offense, sexual offense, they will be reprimanded. Yeah. That's how serious I am, because this thing is like, people have taken it so normal. You will molest a person and say, it's happening. We need to have a voice. We need to be sober as a society. We need to have men rising, men of God, normal men, sons. We need to empower them to know that sexual offense is a bad sin that corrupts a person's soul, mind, and spirit. It doesn't just affect their body. So we need to rise up, and things that are not serving us, may God just...
You asked about what could be the effect of this person being molested at a young age.
Yes.
One of them is also, you see people becoming gays. Most of them say that, I was molested
by my dad, by my uncle.
Yeah, because as we said, sometimes these things are spirit. Because you see, if I am a man or I'm a young boy and then I am molested, I should be running away from men. But you find that now you begin getting attracted to men. Which is not very normal.
After initiation.
You find that it's like an initiation thing. So someone sleeps with a child. I was watching one of the shows on YouTube, and he says that I went to visit my uncle. After visiting him, I slept. He raped me. In the morning, it was blood everywhere. And from that day, I just want to be near men. So you see, that's like a spirit that was just cast on him, and then it became
you see now the person who is practicing homosexuality in you already has those spirits of homosexuality. So he can only give what he has. That's why you find if someone was sodomized, they are likely to become homosexual instead of hating. Why? Because the demons, the homosexual spirits are passed through that. are passed through the anus. You're getting that? So it's not like, it's actually demonic. It's actually satanic. There's demons and there's spirits that get into her. Look at it. A girl is sexually abused by another woman. And she end up being a lele. Why are you becoming a lesbian? Because the spirit of lesbianism came out from this woman and entered you. And that's why the Bible says bad company corrupts good morals. No matter how good you are, and someone has some demons, have some spirits, they are likely to get in you through association. And that's why I'm very happy with what Beridi said. This is repovers. They are very demonic. We must refuse these repovers. No matter what excuse your son and your daughter will give you, as a parent, you must become mad. Because they might go sleep with a boy who they don't know is a gay. And then that spirit will get into him innocently and he begin to desire. He may even not doing it, by the virtue that there is that association. Because your son, your daughter may not know the sexual pattern of the friend. They only meet in school. You see that? They only meet in school when they are composed for school. But this person could be living a very dirty life at night. So if they go to sleep in that house, you get the point. You find that these spirits can easily get access because they are legally there. They are the ones who have brought themselves into the legal ground of where these things are practiced. So we have to be very, 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 very tough to our parents, to our children, and tell them no sleep over us. You go do anything else but don't sleep. Don't sleep outside. No matter what excuse is given, we must refuse. Otherwise, there are demons
who will say that you are not saying no sleepovers, but how will my children get to know their cousins, their relatives?
They meet during the day.
Their parents will argue like that, and I want you to talk to them because now you are saying they will grow not knowing their people because they are always independent. So how will they socialize?
I think this thing is whereby you find that now schools have closed. I send my children to the village. I'll never do that. I'll never do that unless I am there.
Thank you.
I always say I'll travel.
I'll
travel them to the village. We spend 3 days. We come back. But go and stay with the auntie. Go and stay with the uncle. And also something I wanted to say is that I think men needs to heal. Men needs to heal in this society. It's very dangerous. I was looking at a Facebook post the other day. Someone said, jokingly, may your daughter marry a man like you. And people are like, back to the sender, never. I can never allow my daughter to marry a man like me. I don't want it. No. Never ever. So it's already we know who we are. And very few men who are saying, yes, I want my daughter to marry a man like me. And I'm still saying up to it, I wish I daughter to marry a man like me, and I would want these words to continue until the day I get old. So that I don't change somewhere else. Because if we should reach a point whereby we want these daughters to be, first of all, we should be their role models in their houses. We as men.
Who a man should be. They should learn from the first person who is the father.
When someone said that may your sons marry a woman like you, say yes. I want it to be that way. May my sons get a woman like me. Not back to the sender. I don't want. Let them find someone else. So who do we want these kids to emulate? They are growing with us in the house. We are the first people they are looking up to, and then we are the first people to disappoint them. We are the first people to rape them, to molest them. So who will they look up to?
We introduce them to pornography.
Yes, we are the ones now. Our phones, we can't leave them with our daughters because if our kids get our phones
in the gallery,
and so number one, you should say that I would like my sons to be like me.
Amen.
Then number two, should also be saying that I would like my sons to marry women like me.
Yes.
As a mother. I also say that I would like my daughters to marry men like me. But if you say that you want someone to marry a daughter like your daughter to marry a man like you, say, let her look for someone like Pastor Monene, but not me. Why not you?
If people actually had that thought pattern, I think marriages, they will just be born again. People will just be different. What we just said. If I was thinking that I want my son to be like me when he is married, when he has married, I want my daughter to be like the mother. Let me tell you, nobody will tell me to work on myself.
Oh yes.
It will be, you'll work on it on your own.
I will put every effort.
And there's something you always, I always hear people saying every now and then, that your children should first learn from you.
Yes.
Your marriage should be the first inspiration to your children, not even to the people watching us or anywhere that.
No.
Let your kids first say, I want to be in a marriage like for mom.
Yes.
Dad.
And you know what?
I think that's the first accomplishment or achievement on this earth.
The reason why we send our children to learning institution, primary, high school, and university, is to go and do biology, chemistry, mathematics, and that is what they learn.
Yes.
But when they come at home, it's not about mathematics. It's not about biology. That's a place now to learn morality, character, culture, how to be in a family,
behavior,
and what will sustain them and help them is not what they learned in school. No.
So, as you have said, I just wanted to emphasize on that. Most of the times, we are so concerned about the academic performance of our children.
Yes.
But we forget that the most important aspect of life is when a child or when a person succeeds, number one, as Pastor has said, in your morality. Morality, your character, your behavior. Number two thing is their emotions. Are they able to control their emotions, and especially negative emotions, and even positive, because there is a place where happiness can go, and now it turns opposite the other way around. So emotional also wisdom is also very important. Social wisdom is also very important. Are they able to relate with other people? You know, are they able to stay with the same sex and the opposite sex and stay at peace without commotion? And so I think those are areas that we need to work on, and those can only be worked on at home.
That can't happen.
Yes.
If I'm always chasing after how my career can advance better, how I can further my studies, how I can buy another land, and I've left my marriage out.
Yes.
You said that you always invest in so many things. I'm taking a program after another program. As you know, I've just enrolled for another PhD. My wife's also enrolling for another master's. They'll also be looking how they can get good grades.
Yes.
But now their morals have been left behind. I think we should, if our kids can see us going for these marriage conferences, they are seeing us going for teens mentorship. They are saying now kids are being whatever, come for a fellowship, we discuss things about family, about marriage. They'll grow up whole. Then we are someone who is in a gym who is very wide, big up, but the legs are thin legs. We are very imbalanced. I think as much as we push them to perform well in school, also we tell them apart from school, there are things that we need to be a better man. I want to be a good father in future. I want to be a good husband in future. I want to be a good wife. As much as you want to be a mother, you want to be a good wife and a mother to your children. The just one is not about getting good grades, about going to a better school or about that. This is good, but also there's a spiritual aspect of them. There's also the wisdom part of them. They also need to grow about morally and other aspects than just getting good grades.
And that's why the greatest academy is not, school.
Yes.
The best academy will be always home academy. If I may call it that way. Where the mother and the father, they are there. Otherwise, it will be a totally messed up institution. It's like telling me, I send my children to school and the teachers are not there. So it is also in the family. If the father and the mother, they are not there, it is the same measure. You are sending your children to school, but the teachers are absent.
Yes.
What will happen? They will not succeed academically. They will fail. They need to be guided. So at home, the same measure. If the father and the mother are not there, the home academy, the family academy, it will collapse. It will fail. That's why you find our children are having a lot of problem, because the teachers at home is not the biology teacher, the chemistry teacher. It is the father and the mother, and their subject is morality, character, values. That is what they teach. You see?
Wow, that's powerful. That's deep.
Yes.
That's deep, Pastor Monene.
Yes.
That's very deep.
Yes.
Because what you are saying, if it can be taken so seriously, is a crucial point of fixing the society.
Yes.
The beginning of healing our society, healing as a humanity, begins from homeschooling, home culturing. People have just forgotten that part of home skills. In fact, people, when they ask you nowadays, what do you do? When you begin to list your achievements, it is about a car, I bought a house, Nobody talks about the welfare of the children. But the thing is, it is way crucial having a fixed home than achieving all these things. Because we have people who look all right on the outside, but deep inside we have wounded beings who later on create a very wounded society. So we will have to have, people need to encourage, especially moms. We, as much as we are pursuing career, we need to know, have that conscious intention of just creating time for your children. The first few years or few months of you having little babies, I don't even see, okay, if there was a way, people having different reasons and priorities, but if there was a way, the first 1 year, mama kaina mtoto wake.
There's a time she was telling me that I feel like I'm not doing anything. It's like I'm not doing anything in my life. I told her, look at this child. She's now almost 6 months. This child is growing because of you. This child is thriving so that from you are feeding this child is getting healthy, he's eating, he's becoming lively, he's running around because of you. You have done more than what any other person could do. Because even if you will pay someone to feed this child, she won't do it as you are doing it. You are the mother. So just raising a life and giving that life purpose is the biggest achievement you can ever do.
That's very
I may go and earn millions, but my children are suffering. I may have achievements like Nelson Mandela as the most fighting for my country, but your children are dying in HIV and they have no purpose. But you can remain there. Yes, I have not done anything, but look at my children. I have raised children who can be trusted by anyone. Someone who wish to employ them, someone who wish them to marry their daughters. People will be saying, hey, because they are seeing how your child has been raised.
That's very
when they look in the society and they say Nani's son is different, I would be proud if he marries my daughter. Or Nani's daughters are the best. If my son can get one of them, that's the best achievement you can ever have. Then your kids are lost in clubs, nightclubs, are always there, going through windows, engaging in shisha or whatever, and then you are saying that I've built an empire. That's not an empire. The best empire is built at home.
The first legacy should be family. Should be emphasized.
So one of the things that is contributing to all this sexual abuse is because there is a dysfunctional husband and a dysfunctional mother, or one of them is making the other person's life difficult. And as you have said, the man has a great role in every family to make sure that he provides the peace that is provided, that is needed, because women cannot be able to bring up children in a toxic environment. You know, it becomes very difficult. She will not be able to function well. And when a woman is also distorted by the husband, the same confusion goes to the children. And I think that's why now we have a very different generation altogether, because women are so disturbed mind-wise, they are not okay. And so from the abundance of the heart, that's the kind of a generation that they are bringing out, because a mother spends more time with the children more than even a father. But it is because as technology is increasing, man has a tendency to think that they don't need God. Now they have enough knowledge, we have enough money, we have what we need to make life. But I think that's also a myth. Why would we think that we don't need God? Just because you have a name, you have money, you have what you have physically? I think that's a serious deception. Where are you living? Because this world does not belong to you. It belongs to God. In the first place, actually you are in a rental place. Your rental place, though, you have built that place because the earth belongs to God. So I don't know why we tend to think that if you have some little education, you are known, you have money, you have what you need for life, cars and a house, you don't need God. I think that's when you need God more. That's when you need God more. Because the more you have, the more you need God's protection, the more you need God's wisdom to be able to handle all these things. And you also be able to handle your children in that environment without them becoming toxic, without them getting out of the way. I think it's the way the word of God says that the heart of a man, Jeremiah, is it 5 verse 9? Jeremiah 17. I think Jeremiah 17 verse 9 says, the heart of man is desperately wicked. You know, who can understand it? I think that's where the heart of a man is. We tend to think just because you have a name, you have this, you are okay. But you are not okay. if really you are not generational. And to be generational is not acquiring all these things that we think they are important. It's more investing in your daughter and your son. It were better if your children got destroyed, but you know, as a mother and a father, you did what was humanly possible, you know, to your capacity, to make sure that you gave them God, you gave them morality, you gave them emotional stability, you gave them social skills, much more as you topped up their education. So we have failed by what Pastor Munene has just said. We are not present to teach our children.
And then there's something when we also understand that we are just stewards.
Caretakers.
We are caretakers
of
these children. And you know, there's a reason why God gives you these children and not that other family.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a reason why this person is struggling to have children and you are having them. But now when you begin being absent, and now you think that you can compensate that absentness with the toys. You say, I say, what you are by school? Are you okay? When I come out, do I bring you again? I bring you a car. What else do you want? So you think now, when you just send them money, you bring them this toy, now you are now being responsible. There are things that you have been saying that cannot be delegated.
You cannot delegate.
Sex is being one of them.
Parenting.
And then parenting is another one.
And you can't pick on parenting.
Yeah, you can't.
Pastor Monene says you cannot leave your son and your daughter when he or she is 5 years, then you disappear and go to look for money for 10 years. You will find that person being 15 years, not 5 years.
Yeah.
So you can't come and pick parenting from where you left your son and your daughter at 5 years, and then now you want to begin from there. No, you're now dealing with a teenager. You're not dealing now with a child. And you see now, at teenager, you are not their role model. You are not even their hero. Social media, their peer pressures are the ones that are their role model. So there are things that we need to be very careful about.
Yes.
I think we have become so much money-minded. We don't mind our children. We even leave them with our mothers and our fathers. We go and look for money. And we say, shall they die? And no one has ever died because of lack of money. In Africa, we have a way of surviving and getting food. You can even go to the dustbin and eat, and God will make sure you're not even diarrhea.
Yeah.
You think of what happens to the chokoras. You know, the children who are in the streets. They have never died of malaria, and they sleep under the bridges.
Sure.
You know, we have and you see, there's no winter. That if winter comes, they will die of cold outside. God makes you sure He sustains them. Wow. So for me, much more as we want to get rich, more important, can we enrich our children with our character, with our morality? The same thing that our parents also sacrificed, not to have too much money, but they gave us their morality. To some extent, that has kept us to this far that we are in. So I think what Pastor Monene is saying is we have parents who are actually completely even absent. They are not, and if they are present, then they are busy on their phones. Like I keep asking parents, why would you say that you spent a weekend with your daughter and your son, and you took them to a bouncing castle, you know, to jump for 2 hours. You took them to skating. They spent time with the bouncing castle. They spent time with the skating. They never spent time with you. You know, that you went for lunch with them, and you only ate lunch within 10-15 minutes you are done. Then throughout you are on TikTok. Just because you are seated in the same table. That's another myth. Just because you are seated in the same table and you are on TikTok, and you spend time with them, then after that you put them in the car and you go and say, we had 2 hours with my daughter and son, but you are usually on the phone. You get that? That's a very serious deception. That you took them to go and play, you know, in a fun, like we have so many hotels where there are these places where you can take your children. But remember, you are not playing with your daughter. You left them with the people who own those institutions. So at the end of the day, you find you really didn't have that connection. You never even played with them. You never even connected. You never talked. You just gave them for 2, 3, 4 hours, left them skating, then come and pick them. And for you, you have spent together with your children. Spending time together is talking, is communication. Yes, you know, is telling them things that pertain to life and godliness. That's your responsibility. Your communication is very important. Wow. So I think parents, we have missed out in parenting, but by God's grace, I hope that these episodes are going to help you to be able to do it, because we also learn as we also teaching you. Oh yes.
And that's why I would say that if you don't know what to talk to your children, invest in seminar. Invest in conferences.
Yes.
We keep on doing these meetings now and then.
Yes.
I mean, go to the internet. There's a lot of information.
Oh, yes.
You can be able to check how do you raise a teenager as a father.
How do you talk to a daughter?
How do you talk to a daughter?
How do you talk to a son?
These things you can get them from the internet. Then don't be too busy. If you can pay beer for your friends, what is 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000?
To invest into your daughter and your son.
Exactly. Buy books. Like we've got one of our books called Naked and Not Ashamed. Have you ever bought it? It will help you as a married person. It will help you in your family. Very, very important.
And for the teenagers, let's talk about sex as parents.
Exactly.
We have that book. Invest in it.
Invest in knowledge.
Oh, yes.
Have something that you can be able to share. When you do that, the Lord will bless you.
Amen. Most of the times abuses happen because parents are absent, either absent or naive. So it's a call for parents or guardians, and especially the male gender, to rise up to occasion and take charge as God mandated. Protect that human being that is with you. And if you are a parent, you can never repeat the class of parenting, so you have to be present. You cannot afford to be an absentee parent and be blaming teachers and be crying to your relatives why the child is getting spoiled. We cannot delegate our duties to the house helps and the house managers because we are looking for money. The life of a person dictates their generation and their future. So we may have to choose or count the cost. Which one is the priority, their life or the short-term gains? So I hope this episode helps us, and may we rise up as a society, as a family, and may healing come.
I also think that what we are seeing as questions coming in, there are symptoms, but as we are trying to address the root cause. If we can deal with this issue of being there for our children, being there for our families, being the role models, I think we'll have a very good generation of fathers in the future. A generation of children who will not be living in traumas and broken. Also, I think that what we are saying here is that let us try to invest time with our children. Being there, as I've just said, that you can be there but not there. You can say the whole weekend I've been with my children, but you've not been there actually.
You have not been
They have been there with their toys, they've been there with the horses riding in the park, but you have not been there. Then still that vacuum still has to be filled by you. And then lastly, let me be that father who I'll want my daughter to marry a man like me. Let me be that man whereby I want my sons to be like me. Let me not say no, let them look for somebody else who is better than them. Watch what kama chachi, kama nani, but see me. Let us be the first role models for our children and to be raising a good family. In fact, it will also heal us. I'm masturbating, no. Let me stop because that you don't appear. Masturbate. Yeah. Also, let us know that we are raising generation. This my son, he's also going to be a father to others. So let us raise generation. We are also stewards of these children from God. Thank you so much. Until next time,
this is Naked and Not Ashamed Show.